skin. I started doing stick and pokes about 2 years ago now, and it was because my partner, they do piercings, and they had done a couple stick and pokes, and so they showed me what I could do to get started, and we just started doing them for fun on each other, and I found that I really liked doing it. So I am gonna touch up my web tattoo right now. So I will show what I do to get ready. I already have a clean area, so that's great, and gloves on. So what I'd start is by cleaning the site. That's important to make sure you're doing this in a safe way. I use an alcohol prep pad. They're easy to use, and you just open it up, wipe the area. In healthcare, you learn that the safest way to wipe something is to circle from the center out. It's really gonna be fine as long as you wipe the whole area, but if you want to be extra careful, you can do that. And then I would prep everything else. I'll get my ink poured out in a cup. I also really like the experience of tattooing with a friend. You can kind of create a little memory and memento that you get to keep with you all the time. So I pick my needle, and what I like to use are narrow point. And it's what I've used for all of these lines. Sometimes my friends think that some of them are thicker. It's just because I've gone over them a couple of times. Also, when you have a thinner needle, it gives you a little more space because sometimes you do accidentally hop outside of where you're meaning to go. So if you have a thinner needle, you can make your line thicker if you make a little mistake. When I did this one here, I used a thicker Magnum needle that helps fill things in faster. It has a wider amount of space it covers with all of your needles. So, alright, so then I usually open these things up just so that they're ready when I need them. And I just have things to wipe because as you're going, the ink spills out around where you're tattooing. It can be hard to tell where you're because as a stick and poke, you're just lining dots up next to each other, and when the ink spills out, you can't see exactly where your next dots go. So it's nice to have something to wipe it off and see where you're at. And sometimes the ink will dry up a bit, so you want the wet one to kind of help with that, and the dry one will help you really get it all out. If the surface is wet when you go in to do the ink spills out even further, so it's nice to make sure it's nice and dry. Alright, so I'm gonna get started. I like to stretch the skin, and what it helps do is make sure that when the needle goes in, it goes straight into the spot I'm meaning. Because when skin is not stretched, it's bouncy, and you can kind of hit the wrong spot and it doesn't go in as clean. So I'm stretching it with my thumb here, and then sometimes I'll use the other hand to kind of stretch the other direction too, and then I go. Different skin reacts really differently to the ink and the needles, which I didn't know at first. So there's one I actually did on my partner that didn't turn out as well as I would have wanted, and I really thought it would be easy for me to do. It was another spider web, which I've done before, but it was on the inside of their elbow, and the skin there is just really thin, and it was really hard to get pokes that didn't go too deep or bleed out. It's just till you feel I can feel, and you might even be able to kind of hear or see that there's a little pop. So using the wet wipe to kind of clear it out and see what progress you've made helps. So while I'm wiping, you're seeing some pigment around the area. That's just the brown ink that we're using. The same thing would happen with black ink, but it wouldn't have these red or brown tones. Practicing on myself was really helpful to figure out how deep to go, because you can kind of feel it more on yourself than on other people. You feel it kind of makes like a ticking kind of sound when it pops out a little bit. If it hurts too much, then I know I've gone really deep. The amount of pokes I do before I re-dip really depends. I don't have a set number necessarily. Okay, so I'm done with what I wanted to do today. So whenever you're done, make sure you can either take a bottle that closes and make sure that it's long enough for the needle to be completely covered, and that the whatever you're putting in is thick enough that it can't stick through easily. And then you can carry them at doctor's offices. Usually if you have an appointment or something, they usually have a sharps container, but anywhere that has a sharps container, you want to make sure you eventually dispose of them there. We have one here, so I'm just going to put it right in here. There you go.